Colorado, and I think it was the altitude. I think it's an unfair advantage. I am calling for the abolishment of all professional sports teams in the state of Colorado. You can't expect teams to go and play a mile high altitude when we're down here at ground level. It doesn't seem fair. Then you've got body clocks, and circadian rhythms, and jet lag, and time zone changes, and we don't have all of our players. We don't have all of our players. Well, we're missing play. Well, so what? Next man up. Be deeper. Though Tennessee tells me via Russo that looks like Eki. Was he skating today? It looks like he might play.
At the time, it said he was skating. And then it sounds like some of like the special team stuff he wasn't doing. And Russo made a later tweet that he was sitting on the bench for like 20 minutes.
Okay.
So I definitely would not say it's encouraging he was giving it a shot today.
So you think that?
But I don't think that means it's a sure thing he's playing.
So you think that broken rib that was jamming into his lung is not going to be good? That's probably what it is. I mean, I'm guessing, I'm surmising. Is it upper or lower? Do we know?
That was lower. I would believe so.
So maybe
he went like ankle first into the boards.
So maybe it's a broken thigh bone that's pinching into his kidney. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, that's not good. I was pretty excited when I saw what you sent me. I thought maybe he might play. I don't know how much a difference it would make. And I guess we'll never know because it doesn't, if he tried to skate and then wasn't in for special teams and was tuckered, I don't know if that's going to go. But I will say this. It's not like the circumstances surrounding the montage of right now, that it means one thing and one thing only. It means we need to turn this thing around. So it's not really what you want to hear during the noon hour Friday before Game 3 of the Western Conference semifinals, but that's where we are. I mean, there's nothing else we can do about it. So it's right now. It was either that or it was Kenny Rogers when you put your heart in it. And that's only for special occasions. That's only for special occasions. Yeah, but you go to Kenny. There was one. Do you remember the time that you had to do the whole first segment because I was so overcome with emotion, weeping, that when you played Kenny Rogers, when you put your heart, I couldn't even do the segment. So, I'm not saying that couldn't happen again, but that was good, and we're getting a lot of people that are appreciative of it. Tend to be. This one says came in late to the Grum. Thought for sure right now. Montage was for the Wolves, but of course it's for the Wild. Unless it was for both, and I missed the first half. I guess it could have been. Though, because the Wolves do need a tournament. They're 1-1, but
one's in more of need.
Yeah,
turning this thing around right now.
They were 1-1. Well, like I said yesterday, I feel like the Wolves actually lost two games, as bad as the beatdown was, but they didn't. It was only counts as one, no matter how many, regardless of how many points you lose by, whether you lose by a baker's dozen or a couple 13-14, which would be a baker's dozen plus one if it was 14, whether it's 6-7, whatever the case may be. Here's another common. Do you have a seatbelt? Do you have to seatbelt yourself into your chair when a montage like that starts? There would be no brick walls left. We took out the brick wall. This one says Elite signed by PJ Fleck. So PJ's listening here today. Spruce Goose Bumps. Breathtaking. Goosebumps. Send this to the Wild Game Day Ops people to play before puck drop. No chance the boys lose. Is it Saturday night yet? It's not, but if I had the proverbial genie's bottle, rubbed it, the genie popped out and said, Master, you have 3 wishes. First wish would be for 3 more wishes. See how smart I am. And the next one would be that it would be brilliant. What time will that be tomorrow night?
It's an 8 o'clock start tomorrow night. Start.
What time will that be? 8 o'clock. Here's another. After that montage, I've been invited to the 2027 NFL Combine after a scout saw me run through a wall. Thank you, Tennessee. The Bricklayers Union thanks you for that montage, Tennessee. Well done, young man. Goosebump time. Bad day to be a brick wall. I was bummed out and down about the Wild and the Wolves. After the montage, I'm driving the bandwagon. Well done, young man. Everybody's excited and pumped up. It is the old back is against do they call it the half board or dasher board, or is that both in hockey? Isn't there a dasher?
Well, there's like a half wall, which is kind of like
half wall.
Which is kind of like halfway between the goal line and the blue line.
And there's something called a dasher board?
Yeah, it's the little like red part on top of the boards there.
Okay, the dasher board. They could have named it Dancer or Donner or Blitzen. Tenebee, do you know who B-Flow's favorite reindeer is?
I don't. Who is it?
Blitzen! Yoga pants, breast, power trip morning show, funniest thing ever. We'll talk some Wild, obviously. We'll talk some Wolves, obviously. They play
8:30 tonight.
8:30 tonight.
Only on Prime.
What am I going to do?
Can't get it on standard television.
No. You just can't get it on Central Mountain Time either.
Frost are in an elimination game tonight as well.
Wow.
At Grand Casino Arena.
And then Abbott, it's all backfired on him. By moving tee to green, he has to run the board for tee to green. Should have just kept it the way it was. And you know what? I hope I'm not right, but we may not be preempting any more tee to greens unless the Wild get this thing turned around right now. We'll break, come back, peek at the purple, tap dance, noon 30 to 1. Then Lil B joins us for a full segment. Well, 2 segments before we do program password. But segment number 2 at 1:15, it's the reveal. It's the not preposterous. It's the program password invitational tournament reveal. Tenebee has put together the teams and the pairings. We'll take a look at that at 1:30. And then Amy James and Ron Johnson will be joining us for program password. So that and so much more to get to here on the Fan.
The Fan and BigDeck.com want to give a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Just enter the keyword Bills at KFAN.com now for a shot at winning. That keyword is Bills. Enter now at KFAN.com. Get ready for great women's soccer when Minnesota Aurora returns for their home opener on May 21st at 7 p.m. at TCO Stadium in Eagan. Tickets for all games are on sale now at mnaurora.com. You can sign up to win tickets to the home opener right now on the contest page at KFAN.com.
Should be a couple of 13-14 past. I'm Common. He is Tenebee. Peek at the Purple, brought to you by Affordable Electric, your old home specialist. May is Electrical Safety Month, and Affordable Electric is here to remind you that safety starts at home and at your business. Their licensed electricians are ready to help with the following: safety inspections, check. Surge protection, check. Panel upgrades and more, check. Because even small issues can lead to really big problems. Whether your space is old or new or somewhere in between, Affordable Electric will make sure your electrical system is safe, efficient, and up to code. 612-331-VOLT. 612-331-VOLT, or visit affordable-electric.com. They are shockingly affordable. Caught you off guard, didn't I? You were expecting the shock. And the reason we don't is because...
Ladies and gentlemen...
JaJuan Jennings.
We got him.
I'm beginning to wonder if he was going to sign with the Vikings. He free agent wide receiver paid a visit to the Purple. It seems like almost 2 weeks ago, somewhere between the last 7 to 10 days. And he agreed with a 1-year free agent deal with the Purple yesterday. His base salary will be $8 million, but with incentives, he could raise the total to $13 million. That's according to league sources. The signing was first reported by Adam Schefter of ESPN. Of course it was. $13 million. Here's what I tell people all the time. At $13 million after taxes is about $7 million. And then, you take that money, you're going to buy yourself a car, buy your mom a house, just being honest. And you're going to spend, invest, save, use, flaunt. By the end of the day, that thing's going to be about maybe $1 million a year. Can he make that last? Can JaJuan Jennings make that last? I never realized how highly regarded he was, Tenebee. It says the 29-year-old was in the Athletics. He was ranked number 21 among the Athletics' top 150 free agents and 4th at wide receiver. I guess I haven't been paying as close attention to the Athletics' top 150 and their top wide receiver free agents or JaJuan Jennings. Tell me about JaJuan Jennings.
I think it was a weak wide receiver class.
Oh, okay.
Or at least a lot of the wide receivers that are available are the ones we mentioned, I think it was yesterday, that are big names that are past their prime. They've hit the back end of the career. They've got off-the-field issues.
Sure.
aren't the same that they once were. JaJuan Jennings, I think, is a quality wide receiver.
Okay.
I mean, I'd like to think if you look at depth charts around the National Football League, that our number 3 receiver is now better than the vast majority of other teams' number 3 receivers. He kind of came out of nowhere a little bit. He wasn't highly regarded coming out of college, wasn't drafted highly, was just kind of 4th, 5th, 6th receiver for his first couple years in San Francisco. And then because of all the injuries and, with Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, and they ended up losing Deebo Samuel, he got an opportunity the last 2 years, and he wasn't fully healthy himself last year, but made the most of it, was putting the ball in the end zone. He was getting a decent amount of catches, yards. He's also a very good blocking wide receiver, which I think is appealing to KOC. So I think in the past year or two, I feel like we've had a lot of 2 tight end type sets, right?
Yeah.
Like Josh Oliver's been on the field a lot. And so we've gotten away with just Jefferson and Addison. I'm hoping now with JaJuan Jennings here that they open it up a little bit and go a little more, let's just call it 11 personnel.
Oh.
And play more 3 wide receiver sets.
Michael Rand writes for Fish Wrap Factory West Side. He has his column is called Randball, and his headline says, JaJuan Jennings adds to Vikings passing game full of motivated players. And the sub-headline says, every prominent player in the Vikings passing attack has something to prove in 2026, which can be good and bad. The bad is, well, because they have something to prove, that means in most cases, they're coming off not so stellar seasons, or maybe they have some question marks, maybe off-field issues, a sort of different situations. But it can also be good, too, Teddy, because when somebody has something to prove, sometimes that makes them rise to the occasion. They dig down deep. They find something they haven't had in a while, or maybe never had at all. And I was thinking about this, when the season ended, I wasn't as impressed as a lot of other Purple faithful were about winning those last 5 games. I mean, it's better to win than lose, I guess, unless you're looking for a better draft pick. But most of the teams we played were not very good, particularly defensively. If you look at their rankings in offensive and defensive across the league, the Packers were already, the final game of the season, they'd already clinched a playoff spot, and they rested everybody. And but I will say this: I mean, again, hope springs eternal, and until you see these draft picks play, it's hard to determine how good they are. But and the free agent signings, I do like getting Kyler Murphy. Kyler Myler. I like, now I don't remember his real name. I've confused it so much with it's Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray.
Yeah, thank you. I blame that on Rosen for confusing me on what his name is. I do like the addition of Kyler Murray. It's possible that 9 will turn into 9, and that he will end up being a quality quarterback and have a long, successful and fruitful career with the Purple. But I wouldn't want it to go into this season with him as the starting quarterback, and I don't think he will be unless, like we've talked about before, unless Murray is just awful or gets injured. It more than likely is going to be him. I'll take your word for it, and those of others that I trust, that this wide receiver that they got is a nice addition to the club. So that helps, but I don't know. I think so much depends upon what happens with especially Walking Boot. What's his last name again? Bramble? No.
Banks.
Walking Boot Banks. If he can stay healthy and make the kind of impact the Vikings think he can make, then I feel better about the team going into the season. I'm not ready to say, do you like parades yet? But I at least like on paper what they've changed. You know how it is, tend to be. And then once I get a listen, once Rosie starts talking it up during training camp and in Barney the Purple Dinosaur, I'll be ready to run through a wall for the Vikings. Your thoughts on the Purple?
I do want to bring up one preposterous statement nominee after the JaJuan Jennings. I knew somebody was going to say this too, and it came to fruition. A guy who's been in the preposterous statement before, Ted Schweers online. Oh, yeah. After JaJuan Jennings was signed today, he said, "Hot take. I think you can make an argument that on skill alone, the Jefferson, Addison, Jennings trio is more talented than the Moss, Carter.
No, he did not say that. He did not say. You're making that up.
I knew someone was going to do that.
Well, it worked. He got mentioned on 100,000.
Yeah, he did. He got what he wanted, I guess.
Yeah, because that is.
He got the clicks.
You know, look, if they could even be half as productive, I'd be happy.
If you want to argue that Justin Jefferson's like same tier as Randy Moss, I could at least hear that argument. I still think Randy Moss, at least talent-wise, is the most talented wide receiver we've ever seen and was more dangerous and I think scared more defensive backs than Justin Jefferson does. Chris Carter to Jordan Addison. I mean, come on.
No.
I mean, Chris Carter is a Hall of Famer, arguably top 5 wide receiver of all time.
Yeah.
Jordan Addison is a fine number 2 wide receiver in this league. And then even JaJuan Jennings, I would not place on Jake Reed's level.
Yeah. And here's what else I will say, is that with Addison, for me, to use a Perry Mason courtroom phrase, I think the jury's still out. I mean, I know he's talented, he's fast, and he's good. But to me, he's not taking that step where you go, wow, this guy's really, really good. He's shown some promise, but I'm not convinced that he's ready to be some long-term number 2 wide receiver for the Vikings. But, I mean, he's trending in that direction, but we'll have to see how things go. Peek at the Purple, brought to you by Affordable Electric. For all of your electrical needs, affordable-electric.com. Some wild Wolves talk on the other side of the break here, and then Lil B at 1 o'clock here on the Common Man program by the Fan. Oh, don't forget, Program Password Invitational Tournament pairings and matchups.
Bracket reveal.
Yeah, bracket reveal at 1:15 here on the Fan.
Get ready, Wild fans. Tomorrow you can watch Game 3 outdoors at Grand Casino Arena. Free entry with doors opening at 5 with food, drinks, and live music before puck drop for Game 3 at 8. Parking will be tight, so plan ahead. Learn more at wild.com/playoffs.
Couple 13-14 pastime common. He is 10 to B, Lil B at 1. Bracket reveal for the Program Password Invitational Tournament 1:15. Then Ron Johnson and Amy James join us for a little program password here on the Fan. A Mother's Day Sunday, Mother's Day weekend. Tenneby, could you look up a word for me? Could you look up the word verklempt?
Yes.
Verklempt. I thought I saw once that somebody told me that it's pronounced verklempt. It's a Yiddish word. Verklempt.
Verklempt. Or verklempt. Or verklempt.
Verklempt. Which one do we want to use? I wish Rosen were here.
So I only know the word from a Saturday Night Live segment in the 1990s.
Oh, okay.
On a bit they did Coffee Talk. Okay. And the character would say, it was Mike Myers saying, I'm getting verklempt. That's the only time I've ever heard that word.
Okay, until now.
So I always heard it as verklempt.
Right, I did too.
Verklempt. Or verklempt.
Verklempt.
Or verklempt.
Which one do you want?
I'm going verklempt. But whatever Rosen says is probably what I'll go with.
Well, I've always gone with verklempt, but I kind of I like things that are new. You know me, I don't live in the past. I'm always looking forward. I like, what's that second one? Give me that second
verklempt.
one. Verklempt. Verklempt.
Verklempt. Or verklempt.
Verklempt.
Or verklempt.
I kind of like verklempt. And the definition is?
Overly emotional and unable to speak.
I get that with Mother's Day sometimes because my mother passed away in 2012, and so Mother's Day is a bit different. I think that's true for a lot of people whose mother has gone to the great beyond. My stepmother passed away as well. My mother passed away in 2012, and then my wife's my mother-in-law passed away as well, and my mom was 82 years of age. Esther Elma Wyron was her last name, Nee, N-E-E. And she died of bone cancer at a hospice in Brooklyn Park, and was very sad. You know, people will tell you that when you are near death and you can control, you can either hang on or let go. That the human spirit is able to do. You've heard where someone's coming in from Los Angeles. You have to get here now. Mom or dad's not going to make it, or Bobby Joe or Billy Sue, they're not going to make it. You have to get here as soon as you can, and they will hang on until that person arrives, and then they will let go. And then I think there are people that can hang on and let go when they want to let go. And I feel like my sister and I were kind of tag teaming being with my mother. One of us would stay there for 8, 10, 12 hours. And then, my mother passed away on a Saturday and it was a Friday evening. I stayed overnight because I thought it could happen overnight. And I woke up and she was still alive and I went home and my sister came. And then I was delayed by about a half hour. I was supposed to take over at 5 and I got there at 5:30. And guess what? My mom passed away between 5 and 5:30. I think she wanted to be by herself. Because my mom, after getting a divorce from my dad, was kind of a loner. She never dated or got remarried. She was a wonderful grandmother to my brother's 3 sons, Rob, Chip, and Ernie, and to my sister's daughter, Natal. Her name is really Natalie, but that's a long story about the Natal thing for another time. And then to my 2 boys, Deuce and baby brother Peter, who I had planned on. If it wasn't going to be Deuce, I was going to name him Finsterwald. And if I did name Pete, we were going to call him Poindexter. So those were their names that we picked out. But I do miss my mother. And I wrote the obituary for her that appeared in the fish wrap factory on the west side. And I saved a copy of it. So, but the mother of my children, she's still alive and well, and we're going to have a wonderful Mother's Day. The highlight tend to be we're going to go out to a Sunday brunch, and on the recommendation of Rosen, we're going to Perkins. So that's where we're going to have our Sunday brunch. Brilliant. And tend to be, do you ever do a brunch? You're a picky eater, so this might not even be a good question for you. But
I like brunches.
So when you go to brunch, do you lean more breakfast foods or, I
lean on the breakfast side.
I do too.
Yeah.
Because I don't eat breakfast. I rarely eat breakfast regardless of what day it is. When I'm up at Camp Richard, up at Grandview, and they have as you know, it's as good a buffet as you'll find, breakfast buffet that you'll find. I'll usually eat it, but I haven't had anything for breakfast today. Nothing. Zero. Zilch. And, so I don't eat breakfast foods much, but when I do, man, French toast, pancakes, sausage, bacon, cheesy hash browns.
Lucky.
Oh, so good. You pancakes or French toast? Which is your favorite?
I would actually probably go more waffle.
Oh, you're a waffle guy.
Yeah.
See, I'm not as big on the waffles. What I like about Grandview is you make your own waffles. They're not like they don't pre-make them and they just have them sitting in a warmer. So you make your own.
Love it.
I don't know how to operate a waffle iron. Maybe that's my problem.
It's really challenging.
Well, so if you know how I am, I'm afraid of failure. The other thing is I'm afraid of trying when there's other people there, because then I can just hear the guy that the man or woman or the kid that's waiting to get to the waffle iron after me going, what's wrong with this person? They can't operate a waffle iron. So you just pour it in and
you pour it in.
Yeah, okay.
Flip it. And then you just wait for the timer to come off, and then it's going to be sitting right there. It's all perfectly ready to go.
Maybe I'll do a waffle when I go to Camp Richard. We're going up there for Memorial Day weekend. But yeah, so Mother's Day will be very good. And I'm looking forward to it. Somebody just sent me a text message via the Bradshaw and KFAN text line. This one says, my mom let go after I arrived to her bedside after a 6-hour drive. She passed away about an hour after I got there. So I do think I believe that. Tell me, do you have any belief in that people can hang on until a loved one comes to say goodbye? I think. I don't
know if I've experienced enough of that to have a strong opinion on it. But
I think I've heard so many other stories, and I think and like I said with my mom, it was the opposite. It was almost like she just wanted to she didn't want us to be there when she went away. But happy Mother's Day to all mothers out there. I know it's a couple of days ahead, but make sure you say that to your mom and get her a card or some flowers or whatever it is that you might want to get for her. Looking at the Fish Wrap Factory West Side, Chris Hine writes, San Antonio's swarming defense left Timberwolves flustered. What's the solution tonight? It's a familiar problem for the Wolves. Their bowel movements. Sorry. Their ball movement was terrible against the Spurs, And now the best of 7 NBA Western Conference semifinal series is tied at 1 game. Julius Randle said, we just didn't play smart. We just didn't play smart. Turned the ball over. Myself, I turned it over too much. Bad shots. And that just ignited their offense. Hein goes on to write, the Wolves shot 40%, a number that they bumped up in garbage time, and committed 22 turnovers. Randall at 5, Rudy Gobert, and Anthony Edwards each had 4. The Spurs were especially aggressive in attacking Edwards and sent 2 defenders at him after he crossed half court. Now, Hein goes on to write that typically the Wolves can handle an approach like that, but they look shell-shocked in Game 2. Chris Finch, head coach, said, you got to get off of it. Use it as a catalyst for ball movement, which is what it should be. We dribbled to tough spots. We were late getting off of it. Our spacing around it wasn't really good, and our decision making when the ball came out of there wasn't good either. So it's kind of a chain reaction. Mike Conley said, we're starting out offense at half court and not able to get good screens on people to get them open, to get into sets or to get into any kind of rhythm or flow. With that, you run up the shot clock. Different guys have the ball. They find more of the crowded sides you end up going to, and that cuts off vision, cuts off a lot of lanes, and leads to nights like we had. Then it goes on to say the Wolves were able to make adjustments in the Denver series after each of their losses and won the next game. Edwards is looking forward to a crowd that will be, quote, falling all over after having a few drinks. They're hoping for a boost from the hometown crowd. That often does happen, particularly early in a game. You know, you oftentimes will hear that, you know, in hockey or basketball in particular in the playoffs, they're going to, you know, the hometown team is they're with the fans, you know, behind them are going to come out, and they're going to probably be coming out full throttle. So you just got to try to withstand that opening rush and hopefully, you know, just play them even for those, you know, for that first, you know, 4, 5, 8, 10 minutes, whatever the case may be, until it settles down a little bit. But they got to find a way to do it. I'm sure they can, but, you know, sometimes it's easier said than done. Just because you know what the other team is going to do, which is what they're probably going to do, what they just did in Game 2. Sometimes it's because maybe they're just that good and they'll be able to do that again. But I would expect a rebound game from the Wolves. I like,
and they've been great at home. I know it's only a small sample size of the Denver series, but they look good in Game 3. Yes. Game 4, that's the one where Ant and Dante get hurt early in the game, and the crowd was just bonkers the entire time. And then obviously they won Game 6 without those same players on the floor. So small sample, but the 3 games they played at home against Denver were great.
Yes, that is true. That's undeniable. So we'll see.
Probably because the home crowd yells, shoot.
Well, that's it.
When the guy's open and he should be shooting the ball. That's very helpful.
Shoot. You have to make. There was another quote in this story somewhere. I wish I could find it. It was something about. Oh, here it is right here. This is Conley again. No, this is Finch. Finch said, no, Finch didn't say this. This is just, here's what it says. It gives the effect of a swarming defense when the Wolves just weren't quick in their decisions. The Wolves often preach a 0.5 mentality, 0.5, that they should make all decisions on offense in that window of time after getting the ball. That was missing. Half a second, within a half second, just like oftentimes when you or I come up with a real witty line off the cuff.
Which happens a lot.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
We say half second. I came up with that in half second. They have to make those decisions in a half second time. And so, yeah, you know, get into your offense, get into the rhythm. And if they can do that, they can play with the Spurs. We saw that Game 1. You know, and I will say this, the one thing, and I know each game is different, right? They always talk about if you have a bad game, you flush it. If you have a good game, you try to repeat it, right?
Yeah.
Even though the Wolves won Game 1 and they did so on the road, they almost gave it away at the very end. The lazy pass by Ant, and then what's his face? Charpentier? No.
Champagny
had a, was he the one that took the three that bounced off the front of the rim? I think it was him. Whoever it was, I mean, that goes in. Then all of a sudden it's like, man, we played so well in that last few minutes of the fourth quarter. We were just, it was, I would say, was almost like a symphony. When basketball is played at a high level, it's like a symphony. It was like a symphony with the way the Wolves played, especially where Ant was real big in the fourth quarter, and they almost gave it away. Whereas the Spurs win was just a beatdown of epic proportions. Now, again, just because the first game they almost gave away, Spurs could be up 2-0, and the Wolves were on the wrong end of a beatdown, doesn't mean that that's going to happen again. But I think the Wolves are going to win tonight. I feel confident about it. Now, regarding the Wild, I think at home with desperation, and I'm not a big desperation guy. I think just because you're desperate, there's a reason your team is desperate.
Yeah.
Because you're not playing well, and the other team has you by the you know what. But
you would think you'd get absolute full effort.
Yes, I think so. So I got hope for the home team. I'm trying to, anyways. I'm trying to convince myself of that, but we'll have to. What
see. About the Frost tonight, though?
Well, all good things must come to an end. So
I'll be there tonight.
Oh, will you?
Yeah.
Bringing
the going to the Wild game tomorrow night too. Yeah, back to back.
The whole family, or you're going as a media member?
Family tonight. Just myself tomorrow night.
Up in the press box.
I'll be in the press box tomorrow night. Yeah. I'm going to jump on the extended pregame.
Really?
The extended Wild pregame with Fallness and I'm assuming Micheletti. Starting at 7 tomorrow.
I'd like to have been a part of that. I wasn't asked about the Wild.
I'm sure they'd love to have you on.
Sure they would. Do you think Rosen could have Charlie call Craig Leopold for you, and you could sit in the owner's suite?
Well, I'd like to bring the kids.
Yeah. Close circuit.
If I can bring the kids, they want to come to a game.
Close circuit to Craig. You got the Jolly Green Giant here, one of your most unabashed fans.
Well, and here's what I'd say to Craig: you've been doing this superstitious, don't want anyone sitting next to you in your suite for your entire tenure here. Mm-hmm. At some point, you got to realize the superstition's not working. So let's break the superstition tomorrow. You invite the Molesky family. You let Leo and Samson and Ingrid sit right in the seats right next to you. Mm-hmm. And that might turn this entire curse might be lifted.
And if we lose, you can smash the remote, the TV remote, just like Tom Pohlad does. Tom Pohlad has already broken several remotes. Apparently.
I could see Craig smashing a remote.
Yeah. Got a couple more text messages. This one says, my dad was dying in hospice with a room full of people. He could no longer speak. Everyone went to lunch, and I stayed with him. I told him it was okay, and within 30 seconds, he passed away. I'm convinced he did not want everybody there, and he heard me. Says, I can contest to that. Both my mother and grandmother left after I said goodbye to them. I wish I could say Happy Mother's Day to them. I miss them both so much. Signed, Michael. This one says, my grandma, mom's mom, held on until my Aunt Susan arrived at the hospital from Florida. She died shortly after. Rest in peace, Grandma Johnson. And she was the last family member to get there. So I've heard that many times, and I think it does happen. I told you I was there for my dad's last breath. It was so crazy because it was actually, there was a humorous part to it. Not that he passed away, but it was time. I mean, it was time. He was 92, and I was born in Detroit. And of course, so he was there when I was born because that's my dad. And on that Sunday he passed away, I'm watching the Vikings versus the Lions, right, on TV. And I'm watching and something goofy happens. And I think the Lions, it was 3rd and 12, disaster happened. I looked at my dad. I look over in the oxygen mask. They had fallen off, and I heard him take his last breath. He went, that was it. And then the humorous part, at least for me, came when, so I contacted the front desk. I've told this story before. And then I say, I think my dad passed away, and they come back and check. And then they always have somebody else, like,
double check.
Yeah, like a second
opinion.
Yeah, discount double check, because we've heard the stories about they think someone's gone, and all of a sudden they're fighting their way out of the body bag, right? And so they say, okay, well, the Undertaker will be here shortly. I said, okay. So I'm waiting there, and I'm watching TV, and my dad's there, All of a sudden, a young lady comes in, and she goes, there's a church service on the television right now that starts in a couple of minutes. Oh, I see your father's sleeping. Oh, no, he's dead. And then I just said a matter of fact, like, oh, no, he's dead. And she felt so bad.
Sure.
I mean, she just went, and I said, it's okay, don't worry about it, but she was just, she was just beside herself because she thought that maybe that was a bad thing to say, that I would be weeping and emotional. I wasn't. It was just the way it was. But yeah, she felt very bad about saying, "Oh, he's sleeping." And I go, "No, he's dead." Maybe the way I said it too. I just matter of fact, I said, "No, he's dead. You can check. There's no pulse there anymore."
Was it the Lions game that sent him over the edge? He said, I can't watch this anymore.
That may have sent him over the edge. It really might have. He was a Vikings fan. He liked sports. He really became a baseball fan late in his life because he never liked baseball when I was growing up. He didn't like it because he didn't like the slow pace. He also didn't like the balls. He was like me. He goes, there's no way they know if that's a ball or a strike, right? My old man always, too, he thought the measurement in pro football was the stupidest thing ever. He goes, there's no way after that scrum that they know exactly where that football was.
Correct.
And he's right, but you have to do it some way. So anyway, well, let's do this. I'm going to ask Lil B about Mother's Day. She's a mom. We'll see what she's got going for Mother's Day.
Oh.
And then 1:15, the bracket reveal for the program password tournament. 16 lucky participants. I think I'm one of them. I don't even know if I'm in yet. I'm waiting as much as everybody else to find out if I'm in. One. And then we will play program password today. Amy James of K102 will join us, as well as Ronnie Johnson. So that and so much more here on the Common Man program on the Fan.